All right, what's a weekend? Match week 6 in the Premier League. It had some absolute stunners, and you know we've got to break it all down. So we're going to recap the biggest moments, and then, of course, look ahead to see what Match week 7 has in store. Let's just dive right in.
Okay, let's kick things off with the one result that sent, genuine shockwaves through the league. We're talking about the biggest upset of the weekend, and it wasn't even close. Yup, you're seeing that right. Liverpool, the team that looked pretty much invincible, just cruising at the top of the table, well, they finally tasted defeat. The first loss of the season. And seriously, this was a result that nobody saw coming, and the way it all went down, oh man, it was pure, unadulterated Premier League drama. So picture this. It looks like Liverpool's gonna scrape by, salvage a point, and then this happens. We're deep into stoppage time, and Nketiah becomes the absolute hero for Crystal Palace. He fires home a late winner that just sent Selhurst Park into total chaos. The league leaders completely stunned. What a moment. But believe me, the drama didn't stop there. So let's break down how some of the other huge games from Match Week 6 were actually won and lost. All right, let's head over to Stamford Bridge because this was a classic tale of two halves. You had Chelsea taking an early lead. They looked like they were in total control, but then Brighton comes back and engineers this massive comeback to win 3-1. So you've got to ask, what was the actual turning point? You know, this timeline really tells you everything you need to know. So Chelsea grabs that early goal, everything's looking great for them. But then the whole game just flips on its head with that red card for Trevoh Chalobah right before halftime. That was it. That was the moment. Down to 10 men, Chelsea just couldn't hang on. And Brighton, well, they seized their chance. Danny Welbeck was immense in that second half. He just spearheaded a dominant performance that totally turns the match upside down. Meanwhile, over at Brentford, it was, well, a pretty dismal afternoon for Manchester United. They were completely taken apart by a relentless Brentford side. Right from the first whistle, United just looked off the pace, and they got totally swamped by Brentford's high-intensity game. Yeah, this quote right here, it just sums it all up perfectly. United looked flat. They couldn't find any rhythm at all. And Brentford's game plan? It was simple, but man, was it brutally effective. Just win the ball, launch quick, direct attacks. United's midfield was non-existent. Their defense was exposed. They just had absolutely no answer for that pressure. Now, the match at Villa Park. It was a bit of a cagey one to start. Fulham actually got the first goal, but Villa managed to level things up before the break. But after halftime, whoa, it was a completely different story. Villa just found another gear and left Fulham in the dust. And this is a classic example of one single player just deciding a match. With the game hanging in the balance, Emiliano Buendia just took complete control. His creativity was the absolute key that unlocked Fulham's defense. First, he sets up McGinn for the second goal, and then he goes and gets on the score sheet himself to seal the deal for Villa. Just brilliant. All right, so after a week just packed with action, you know what time it is. It's time to hand out some awards for these standout performances. Let's do it. Here are the awards for Match Week 6. So Arsenal's dominance gets them Team of the Week, and Gabriel snags Player of the Week. But let's be honest, the weekend really belonged to Crystal Palace. That incredible win over Liverpool, it rightfully earns them Goal of the Week for Nketiah's last gasp winner, and of course, Match of the Week and Upset of the Week. Just an absolutely unforgettable performance from them. Okay, so that's a wrap on Match Week 6. Now, the big question is, how do those results set the stage for Match Week 7? It's time to turn our attention to the next round of games, and you guessed it, the predictions. But first, let's have a quick look back at last week's predictions. The over 1.5 goals model was absolutely on fire, going a perfect 4 for 4 in the key matches we tracked. Hey, that's a pretty strong foundation as we look ahead to the next round, right? And here they are, the predictions for all 10 matches in Week 7. Now, you'll see the model is calling for over 1.5 goals in pretty much every single game, but there's one fixture in particular where it's expecting a whole lot more action. And that match is Brentford versus Manchester City. It's the only game predicted to have over 2.5 goals. And when you think about it, it makes sense, right? Just look at how Brentford took apart Manchester United with their attacking style, and then you factor in City's world-class firepower. Yeah, this fixture is being flagged as the one to watch. If you want guaranteed goals and entertainment, this is probably it. So all of this leaves us with one massive question as we head into the weekend. After that stunning win from Crystal Palace, who's next? You look at that fixture list, and you have to wonder, which underdog has the best shot at causing another huge upset in Matchweek 7? That is the big question to think about before the games kick off.
And hey, that's a wrap on our breakdown for this week. For more predictions and analysis as all the action unfolds, you've got to be sure to follow Marcus across all his social channels. We'll see you next time.